When you pick up a novel, you follow the plot. But have you ever considered the blueprint, the architecture of the story itself? An author's choice to tell a story chronologically or to shatter it into fragments isn't accidental. It's a deliberate decision, an argument embedded in the very form of the text. Consider a straightforward linear timeline. A Marxist reading might see this as reinforcing the myth of capitalist progress, the idea that history moves inevitably forward. But what about a non-linear narrative, full of flashbacks and time jumps? A feminist analysis could interpret this fragmentation as representing the fractured consciousness of trauma, directly challenging the neat, forward-moving narratives often dominated by male stories. This applies to genre, too. A coming-of-age story, a Bildungsroman, seems simple. A protagonist matures and finds their place in society. But critical lenses force us to question this. A post-colonial reading asks, what if maturation means assimilation into a colonial culture? A queer reading might question if integration just means accepting a heteronormative life. Suddenly, the structure isn't a neutral container, it's a mold, shaping characters to fit a specific ideology. Even a first-person narrator, like Offred in The Handmaid's Tale, is a structural choice with political weight. Her limited, subjective view isn't just for psychological intimacy. It represents the totalitarian system's success in controlling knowledge. Her story becomes a personal testimony fighting against an official, fabricated history. From the way a book begins and ends to who gets to speak and when, structure is never neutral. It privileges certain viewpoints and marginalizes others. Analyzing this architecture reveals the text's hidden arguments about gender, class, and power. The way a story is built is just as important as the story it tells.